You know, one of the things that we should learn here, how to send the log. So imagine that you have different type of devices like a router, and you have here firewall. So let's say you have Windows operating system, and also you have Linux operating system. So if you want to send a log, I'm talking about syslog. Usually by default, we are sending log through the UDP port. It can be TCP. A common way is UDP port. The port number that by default you're using for syslog is 514. And there are some monitoring tools that we are using during this course. One of them is PRTG that we are learning. The other one is Splunk. They are very famous tools that we are using for this course. So the thing is that once you sending log, this devices is like ready to listen to this uh, device's IP address, and they're receiving some logs from these devices. And because they have like a visual way to show the logs, and they have a dashboard, so you can monitor these devices. There's two ways, two protocols that we are doing for monitoring devices. One of them is Syslog. The other one is SNMP. Syslog is a system log, and as I said, we usually use this port UDP 514, but you can also change the port if you want. But common one is UDP 514. And it is like a system log, as we said, like a device is going down, device restarted, your port is down, your port is up. So this kind of a log, we call it as a syslog. On the other hand, we have SNMP, which is more about the utilization performance of the hardware. For example, utilization of the CPU, the like the free space that you have on the hard drive. So this kind of a log, we call it as SNMP. So there is like a difference between syslog and SNMP. They are not the same. And when you're receiving here under these two monitoring tools, you should define out which one you want to monitor. You want to monitor syslog or you want to monitor SNMP. And then you set your devices. Like you set your devices to send a syslog or to send a SNMP log. Once the monitoring tools receive the logs, they try to show on the dashboard. This one by default is using port number 161 and 162. And as I said, this one is using port number 540. So today I'm going to show you on PRTG how to install the PRTG here. Then we are learning how to send, for example, from Windows operating system, how to send the how to send the SNMP. Also, so we are adding some sensors. We call it as sensors on PRTG to add the sensors and monitor the Windows. Also, we are doing on a Linux operating system. So we are doing these two today, and then we are finishing next session on routers and firewalls. Let's go and start. So to prepare your lab, it's good to have like VMware workstation. And I have already put the images on like a Moodle page. You can go and download that images, for example, Ubuntu images, Windows images, firewall images, and the other things are there, so you can download it. So once you download and install, so this is like my Windows operating system, right? So this is my VM. Also, you can install a PRTG on your host machine, like here. So what I'm gonna do here, I'm saying that, okay, download PRTG like that. And then you see that PRTG network monitoring tools. free, then you can download it from here. And during the installation, give you free license key. And this is like an exe file that you're downloading. So I download that one here. Okay, so then uh, we open that file. So usually you receive that protected because it's an exe file. You click on run away, and then it's gonna install the PRTG like that. English, and showing here I accept the license agreement. So here asking for email address, you can put your email address here. We accept that, yeah. You can just bypass that, next, and then install the PRTG. Or you can put the real email address. So in the meantime, uh, um, yeah, there is like error is saying that exists, skip, some error showing up here, but anyways, just installation process is very straightforward. Uh, After that, it's gonna install a PRTG on your local host, and you're able to see PRTG on your local host. Also, it's very good to have like VM, like for Windows and for PRTG. If you don't want to touch your host machine, you can have like a Windows operating system that you install a PRTG on it and then monitor the PRTG over there. That's possible. Uh, if you don't want to install it on your host machine. I have installed it here. Let's see what happens. So one of the things that I want to do right now is networking of this Windows operating system. You see that this network is NAT, and it's good. You know why? Because um, I'm here facing some issues. I think this is not gonna install properly, maybe. If it didn't work, I install it on this VM, you know. Also, in the meantime, I can't do it. This is NAT. I was talking about NAT. So bridge is like connect your network adapter directly to your network interface of your host machine. NAT is gonna like translate the IP address. But these two are okay. Like you can have NAT or bridge if you want to continue. I'm continuing with NAT. And here, look under my Windows VM. I think something is very, very slow. Okay. I prefer, I think, to let me switch my operating system. This is very slow one. So let me switch it to somewhere else. So I'm bringing. So this is very, very slow. So I'm stopping that one. I power it off. Want to exit from this one also. And what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna install here. So this one I think is better. So I do the installation PRTG download, downloading this one, asking me what is a motorbike, motorcycle. Oh, I see that one as well. Ah, bus. Come on. Okay. Um, free download. I was asking for email address. So I'm gonna create a temp email, you know. I don't want to put my email address here. Okay, then paste it here. Okay. And I'm gonna install PRTG. More info, run away. English. I accept that. Okay, asking for email address. Okay, then express and next. So this is unpacking and doing installation process. In the meantime, I'm going here and you see that I have already downloaded this Windows 10. So I'm gonna, once you're downloading the image, it's gonna be like that. It's a 7-zip software that you should extract it. And it gives you this option to open it on a VMware. So I do VMware Workstation Pro and open the extracted file on VMware. So I go file, open, that is located here on the Windows and this VMX file. So you don't need to install a Windows operating system. It's just prepare you just add it. So you see that here now, then I can increase the RAM. If you have enough RAM, you can increase it. But if you don't have it, you can stay on 2 gig. That's good. So yeah, then I'm continuing, and this is my Windows operating system that I have. So this is also PRTG installing. All right. Look, one of the things that you should do here for SNMP, there is like configuration. Sometimes configuration is under control panel. Let me show you. It's here under control panel, add remove program, Windows feature. So sometimes SNMP configuration is here. Simple network configuration. You see that this version, because I'm using Windows, this is Windows 10, I think. Sometimes you should look at it. Sometimes some versions are located here, but this version is located under features, like app features. Also Windows 11, I think they put the like SNMP here. So what you do here, you click on optional feature, add feature, and then look for SNMP protocol. You see that SNMP, and then you install this one. Usually it takes like less than 1 minute to install it, but if like took a time, there is issue with your operating system. You should restart your operating system. So so far, look, if I come back here, you see that PRTG installed successfully, and the login and password is by default is there. You don't need to change it, but it's PRTG admin. You log into a PRTG. This is the free version that you're using, trial version. So what I'm gonna do, you see that some pop-up messages coming here. I close that one to see the dashboard. What is the dashboard? You see that I have 93 sensors available. We're talking about sensor. What are the sensors and how we can add more sensors? So under here, you have all the devices. PRTG by default, it detecting your local host. And you see that is trying to see that gateway, this DNS server, but these are not my network configuration that I have. Like if I have VMware, it's also trying to automatically, you see the auto discovery, automatically detect that station under VMware. Again, this is not my network configuration, and I want to add my own network. So you know, when you're ready, you can add on the right click here and add a new device. So for this step, basically you should have the IP address of that device. You see that is asking for a device name. I put here Windows operating system like Windows 10 and asking for the IP address of this Windows. So you can come back here. So the SNMP also, you see that is installed. So you can come back here and type here cmd ipconfig to know the IP address of your Windows operating system. You see that is 192.168.199.135. So coming back to PRTG, 192.168.199.135. And this is the icon that you're selecting for your device. For example, you can select one of these icons that's for different companies. Like Windows, where is the Windows? I can select this one. And there is an option here, is saying that no auto discovery. That means that automatically doesn't discover that. But it has an option of default discovery, detail auto discovery, and auto discovery with a specific template. So like here also, you can create your own template to discover different devices. But as I told you, there are different type of protocol here. Like if you have a credential of the Windows operating system, try to have more options here. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna only inherit. You see that it says inherit from network discovery. That means that whatever network configuration is there, inherit from them. But I don't want it to inherit from the network discovery. I disable this option and gives you this ability to select the different type of SNMP. You know that we have two versions of SNMP, SNMP version 2 and version 3. Version 3 is encrypted, is more secure. Version 2 is just the plain text. Because we are testing, I just want to show you how the SNMP works. We are working on SNMP version 2. And SNMP version 2 only needs community string. So you should put the community string here. So like I'm putting here Windows or Win, something like that. You see that by default is 161, and every 5 seconds is trying to reach to that Windows operating system. This is the information that I have here. Before I click here, OK, and you see that my Windows 10 is here, I'm gonna come back to my Windows operating system because this one has now SNMP. And if you go to services, usually you can find the SNMP. Is simple, sorry. You see that SNMP services and SNMP trap. SNMP trap usually sends SNMP logs to a device. SNMP services means that PRTG requests some information, and then it asks the Windows operating system that what is, for example, your community string. I have already put community string on PRTG as Win, right? So you should also put here community string as Win. So here is asking you, do you accept any packet from any host? So if you want to make it more secure, you can say that, okay, accept the packet only from the host machine, like this host machine that you have, and you have already installed a PRTG. But if you like, because this is a lab, if you want to allow any host, you can select the first option. So this is the configuration, you need that. Also make sure that you don't have a firewall, because firewall usually doesn't allow the packets reach to your operating system. I disable the firewall, and look, now I'm gonna come back to my PRTG and my Windows is here, right? So right click on the Windows and add sensor. The sensor that I want to add here is, let's do SNMP. And you look, there are different type of SNMP, SNMP for Cisco, SNMP custom string. So like this one, CPU load, it detect the CPU. This one, it detect the free disk space. SNMP memory, right? So it detects the memory. So let's check one of them that works with our case or not. So I'm adding this one. Also, this is like the custom, and it's saying that the configuration that you had under Windows 10 is going to be applied here. So I create that one. And I want to add another sensors as well. So I'm going to go under this device that I have here, basically network device, this one, and add another sensor. So the second one, I'm gonna add ping to see that ping is working, because ping is something that shows that your device is up or not. So you see that I have two sensors here, but when you want to refresh that one, you can do it from here. So basically you see that now both of them are check mark. That means that DC is okay. So you're receiving some logs from SNMP CPU. So the CPU load of a Windows operating system. Also want to add more, like if I come back here, and there is like auto discovery. So it detects everything, auto discovery with template. But if you prefer only add your own sensors, you can come back here and search for whatever we have here, like SNMP, for example, free disk that we hardware status. So you can add this one also. Look, it has a lot of things that you can add it here for Intel, IBM, whatever it is called. Some of them maybe doesn't work here because it doesn't apply to our hardware configuration. But anyway, I just want to show you that how you can. But if you run this discovery, you see that some of them is red because I don't have a D drive wrong, but this fixed disk is working. But if you run an auto discovery, automatically detects some sensor for you. You don't need to add it manually. But as a network administrator, some of them maybe is you don't prefer some of the sensors that you're seeing here. So that's why you choose your own sensor. For example, I don't want to have these two sensors. You see that it doesn't work with this. It's not compatible. Saying that it's not compatible with your device. So I'm removing this ones, these sensors, and some of them like this one is for software loopback interface one. Probably I don't have it. It's not compatible, but it's coming. Look, most of them like SNMP Uptime version 2, low disk free space on C drive. Everything is coming. But what you can do with this type of log, like you can look at this log, look at the 2 days ago, you see that it's giving you dashboard of the hardware that you have, this free space, and this is very good tool. Like if you are looking for 30 days, what happens to this devices, that gives you a very good visual view that as a network administrator or system administrator, you can watch the devices. Let's go and add one more device. This was about Windows operating system. Let's say we have one Linux operating system. So I'm gonna add here one more Linux. So if you download the Ubuntu also, it's the same. Like you can extract the 7-zip file, and after extracting the 7-zip file, you can add it to your VMware workstation. So I'm coming back to VMware workstation, file, open, and where was it? It was here on the Ubuntu, and then I'm gonna add Ubuntu. So do you see that NAT again, the same configuration? Power it on. I copied it. So it's loading operating system, Ubuntu operating system. And then Ubuntu. So here, because you know that Ubuntu has Syslog and also it has SNMP. So the thing is that I'm gonna do first SNMP part. So first of all, you should you can also search on the internet to see that what you should install for SNMP. But I'm writing here to know the steps. First of all, apt-get update to update, sorry, apt-get update to update your packages. And then you're gonna install SNMP and SNMP-D. That's the SNMP packages that we need for Ubuntu. So then apt get install SNMP and SNMP-D. I use this one is -y. -y means yes. That's by default is saying yes to any question. So then it's installing SNMP and SNMP-D here. Then what you should do here, after doing this step, you should come back. You know that nano under etc SNMP, the configuration is located here. Look, SNMP d.conf. d.conf. So this is the main configuration that we have for SNMP. So under agent address, you set this one as UDP 161. So that's like something that you put it here is UDP 1. Because we are not using IP version 6, you can remove the IP version 6 here, but the port number is 161, right? Like that. So that means that you're talking through this port. And this is basically, this here is saying that what is your community string? You saw it on the Windows. We were doing through that visual under services, but here you should do it on command line. So it's saying that by default is public. You can change this one to, for example, Linux. So that means that my community string is now Linux, and this is for IP version 6, right? So you can comment this section. We don't need IP version 6 right now. I see that we have also router configuration, router configuration. So I'm just skipping that part. This is the only configuration that you need to do it for Linux operating system. So I save it. And look, now, you know that Ubuntu by default, if you check UFW status, you see that your firewall by default is down. But some distribution, maybe they have a firewall, is better to check the firewall status. If the firewall status is, for example, up, then you should allow the port 161. And then you do service SNMP D restart. So that's restarting the service port. So one way to check the configuration that's working properly, you can do it with SNMP walk. And basically, this is very important that sometimes asking you during an interview that, for example, how we can detect that SNMP is working properly. You can say that SNMP walk is a tool that you can check the SNMP is working properly or not. I am checking version 2. You see that -v2c and then -c. You put the community string here. My community string was Linux. And the IP address here actually is localhost. Let's check it. Look, you have some here SNMP. On a Windows operating system, also we have kind of tool that you can check it. Is MIB browser. So then look, I'm receiving from this device some SNMP. If I check the IP address here, IP address, so it's showing me this IP at 192.168.199.134. So I'm going to PRTG and add this device under network discovery, add device, and I named this one as a Linux operating system, IP address 192.168.199.134. And this is, where is Linux operating system here? Look, this is Linux operating system icon. It's saying auto discovery. Let's do the auto discovery this time. But when you're doing auto discovery, you should do your SNMP properly, because by default it's public. I have to go here under this configuration and change it to Linux because my community string was Linux. So then click OK, and let's come back to devices. Let's see that what happens. So you see that under Linux is adding some sensors, but auto discovery now is 0%. That means that we just sit down here until it detects some sensors. Usually takes time, depends on the type of configuration. Yeah, it's scanning. You see that got some ping and SNMP uptime. That's good. We were expecting SNMP. Also, it detects as much as it can. Also, on the Windows operating system, I see that there are some more incompatible sensors. So I remove those. Now you see that some of them, like here, is running. So when you're doing your assignment, make sure that your sensors are green and working properly, like this one. You see that also on the Linux pings working properly. We are waiting for the second one to see that it works properly or not. But this is like a other discovery that we have under uh, PRTG. So how about Syslog? We haven't done Syslog. So one of the packages that we have under Ubuntu is, let me clear my screen, is this one. Look, apt-get install rsyslog. Basically, you're installing syslog packages here. So nano etc rsyslog.com, this file. You go at the end of this file, yeah, you see that it has UDP and it has TCP, and there are some configuration related to syslog. I put here, for example, all facility and all severity, send a log @ sign to which device you want to send the syslog. So my host machine, I should check the IP address here, IP config. My host machine has this IP address, 32. So I put the IP address here, 142.168.197.32. If you want to send a UDP, you put 1 @ sign. If you want to send a TCP, 2 @ sign. And the port number, usually you put it here. For example, I want to send it to port 514. Okay, so this is the configuration for rsyslog. Then what you do, you restart the rsyslog configuration service rsyslog restart. That's very, very important to restart it. So now how can I receive that? I'm gonna go under, see that it got SNMP and these two sensors. I'm gonna add this sensor. Syslog receiver. Basically, this is a syslog receiver. You see that port 514, and here is saying that what type of severity you want to receive the log. Logs usually between 0 to 7, and 7 is a debugging log. I put that one, include one between 0 to 7, because usually when you want to do troubleshooting, you enable, you see that it has already written here that this is the debugging. And here, source of IP address, if you want to put a source of IP address when like where the logs is coming, you write it down like source 10.0.23.50, and that means that the IP address of source UDP. So then is not receiving from any other sources. Warning, this is a level of warning. Exclude, you can, if you don't want to receive any logs from IP address, you can exclude it from here. And you can create it. So this one basically now receive we were gonna wait until to see that we are receiving logs from Ubuntu or not. You can restart it. Also, there is like something like, call it as logger. Logger generate the more logs. Like if you do it like that and put a text message, it will generate the more logs, and then you can trace your logs here better. Like if you just go here and under logs or historical data, so you should be able to receive some logs. I see something is coming here, but it's not. The sensor is up. Yeah, the sensor is up. So probably it's coming soon. Like this is like data that you receive from this operating system. As I said, you can restart the Syslog services and you can check it how your log is received on the PRTG. Usually it has some delay, like to receive the logs. So basically, this is the way that we are managing sensors. Also, you see that you can add more sensors for Linux operating system, like also categories of a by target operating system. Like you can say, okay, only show me the Linux sensors. So you see that you can add this one. If I have, for example, Apache, then I can monitor the Apache. How? Look, if you just install service, apt get install Apache 2, then look, now is I have web service on my Linux operating system, and that makes sense. Now, if I add HTTP, monitor web server using HTTP. So it's asking what is the IP address, is HTTP, not HTTPS, as 192.168.199.134, I think. I'm not wrong. Was it if config? Yeah, 199.134. 134, I put it. Here asking get method. Yeah, it's good, get method. And then create it. Let's see that what happens. Let's add another sensor, like categories again by Linux operating system. Also, if you're looking for custom, you see that it has ping version 2, POP3, port range. You want to monitor the port range. SNMP Linux physical disk, or memory information, or free disk. You see, all of them you can monitor it, like uptime. Syslog, we did that one. So these are something that you can add also to monitor the Linux operating system. I just want to show you this one. This SNMP custom string. The reason that I'm showing you this one, I want to learn OID number as well. So what is that one? Let's come back to Windows operating system, and here install install MIB browser. So MIB browser. See that this tool basically is a good tool for monitoring the SNMP. I download that one. Free personally, I download that one. Accept it. Set up it. Yeah, keep it. Oops. Delete not. Keep it anyway. With the exe file, it detects as a virus, but it's not a virus or malware. So set it up. Right away. Agree. MIB browser, install it. So what we're gonna learn here. So look, there is like a structure for SNMP, and each device, each piece of hardware that you have, there is like a SNMP for that one. And vendor, they have their own SNMP. Let me monitor, let's say that I want to monitor Linux operating system. And here under advanced, you see that it's asking for community string and also version of SNMP. Version was SNMP version 2, and I had Linux as a read and also write. So I put it here, click and go. You see that it detects this one. See that SNMP start with ISO, and ISO is the root. And then under that, you have different type of levels like system interface. If you click on the system, for example, system name is Ubuntu 2204, right? But it has OID number. That OID number is .1, .3, .6, .1, .2, .1, .1.5. So it's like this 1361 is common. That's coming from root. This is 1. This is 3. And then the rest of a number shows that system name. Look, for contact, it has different number. For location, it has number. Interface, if I want to see interface number, no interface here. Like this is looks for switches and some stuff like that. So different type of protocol here, SNMP packets that you want to monitor them. All of them has a number, but most of them like is system description. Like this one, it has another OID number. The thing is that here on the sometimes is asking you on this is custom one. You want to monitor a specific items on the operating system. So for example, if you type 1.3.6.1.2.1.1.1.1 here, then it will monitor this one, system description. And you can have a system description under this Linux operating system. So you can have a customized OID number here as well. We just wanted to know that what that OID number is. So basically this is about like how to install PRTG at Windows operating system and Linux operating system.